Thank you. Good evening. I'm very sorry that I don't speak French, and I hope the translator can keep up with me. I'm from a small town in London, so most people there can understand me. Most people in the rest of England fail to as well. So we'll see. As you know, yes, I was a teacher, and I got a stern look from my boss the day he asked me if I was going to vote, and I said no. Politics doesn't affect me. I was 27 years old, and he couldn't believe it. And he said, "Excuse me, you drove here today, politics determines when the roads are fixed. You went out at the weekend, politics determines whether that nightclub has a late license or a dance floor. You're a teacher, politics determines the curriculum." I get it. But I was inspired from a place of frustration. Why didn't I understand? Why didn't my parents make me political? Why did I go to school and university and no one made me political? And it was from that frustration I decided to see if I could inspire others from a place of inspiration so they could feel a sense of power, a sense of empowerment, that they wanted to play a role. And that's when By the Ballot started. It was named by a 14-year-old girl that said we should call it By the Ballot because her mum tells her to bite the bullet. Fantastic. And it was a lunchtime club for around a year. And I quit my job because I realized that we were doing something that many people didn't have access to in the UK. And as you know, we decided to do something initially around voter registration. UK voter registration levels were so low. And it seemed that those least likely to participate in politics were those most likely to be affected. And that was the young and the socially excluded. And so we created the National Voter Registration Drive. And we grew it from 54,000 registrations to 1.83 million registrations in 3 years. I can't take all the credit for that because in the third year we were able to collaborate with big tech platforms where young people were. We had voter registration calls on Tinder. We had Uber splash screens come up telling you to register to vote and not be a passenger. It was amazing, this form of collaboration. And I was lucky enough then to become an ASHOKA Fellow. A marvelous turnaround in my life, this idea of being a social entrepreneur and connecting with other social entrepreneurs. And I quickly realized that voter registration was amazing, but it wasn't enough. What did people vote for? Do they know the issues they care about are political? And so I looked to data, insight, and gamification. Many of you may be aware, if you travel by public transport, that many of us sit glued to our phone, playing Candy Crush or swiping or tapping. And I wondered, could we take that level of gamification and build it to a level of political consciousness? Could we have videos with gamified questions weaved within the video so someone could form an opinion, share an opinion, and then at the end compare to others? Could we eliminate the line, "It's just me, nothing ever changes"? Because it's never just us. Every issue you care about, someone else cares about it. And the likely thing is, they will be different to you. So the data was amazing, and we began to realize that if we could harness that data, could we use it to change policy? Could we capture the insight of a whole demographic, which most people know very little about? Do they drink Coke? Do they drink Pepsi? Do they wear Reebok? Do they wear Nike? But what do they care about? What are their moral foundations? What drives them? What are they scared of? What do they want for the future? If we can capture that information and drive it into the heart of Westminster, into the heart of our parliament, would people write policies to win their votes? And that became the task, and we still do that today. And we've been very fortunate that over the past year, we've influenced 3 pieces of legislation right in the heart of Parliament. We're changing laws. But the third and final piece to the equation was the face-to-face. The data's fantastic, but as many of us know, most of our timelines on Facebook tend to tell us the things we already care about. In London, most of my friends were shocked when we left the European Union because their Facebook timeline said everyone wanted to stay in, because they don't talk to anyone who's different to them. So the third and final task was the idea of bringing people together in the heart of the community, not bringing them to Parliament, not bringing them to the council buildings, bringing politics to them, together. So we reinvigorated the idea of the 17th century coffee house, the age-old tradition where we used to gather in coffee houses and tea rooms and do our politics. And we brought young people together. Why? Because we promised them a free coffee and a piece of cake. And why not? But when they were there, we created a safe space for them to say, what do you think about education? What do you think about the environment? What do you think about the future of jobs? And they share openly, sitting in a table with people that are different to them. And it was phenomenal, because over the space of an hour, everyone realized they were political. And it was amazing. And I'm very fortunate, again, through ASHOKA and connections, to have collaborated with two amazing fellows in Colombia. I've just come back. That's why I'm tired. And we took this methodology, and my friends and fellows over in Colombia, they had the network, they had the connections, they had the access to the young people, and all three of us just weaved ourselves together. I brought my bit, they brought their bit. No one cared about how big their logo was and who owns the materials. We cared about the outcome. And it was one of the most inspiring weeks I've ever had. These young people in Colombia that have seen such difficult histories, unbelievable things have happened to them in their lives, yet they found the respect, the empathy, and the confidence to share and discuss and become more political. But we didn't do it in coffee shops. We decided to do it in a chicken restaurant. So I'm sorry for the vegetarians. They do have these delicious arribas, I think they're called, the little corn snacks. So, but the point was, people came again for the choice of free chicken and a drink. I'm delighted to say that hopefully, as a result of some of the collaborations here in Lyon, we are going to try and bring the coffee shop initiative here. So look out for it. If you see an invite, come along. Bring a friend that doesn't do politics. I don't know if in France there's anyone that doesn't do politics. But it's a place for you to have fun. It's a place for you to talk to people that are different to you. And for any of you budding social entrepreneurs, it's a place for you to find what it is you really care about, and can you find the solution? Can you be the one to be resilient when your parents, your friends, your loved ones tell you you're crazy? Because they do that still today. Can you collaborate? Can you put aside your logo, your ownership? Can you collaborate to make the impact bigger? And can you find the others that if you come together, if you weave yourselves together, will you have a lasting impact that in time people will point to and say, amazing, started here, started by them. Thank you so much, and I wish you all a very nice evening.
Michael Sani.